Troll.
Hello and welcome back to Mzansi. We're back again. It is that time of the night where we have to go through what went through that court. And I'm just gonna say this: I'm gonna be less in terms of what I'm gonna put. I'm not gonna say much. Emily, please. Greetings to everyone. Greetings, and I know it's late. Greetings to everyone. Sorry about the time we took. Emily, greet our people.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Mzansi Reality YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining us yet again for another deliberation on the Senzo trial. Well, it's been quite a long day for both of us, and yes guys, we apologize for being so late, or rather so early in the morning. But a lot of things are happening in our personal capacity, so it's pity. It's a lot going on. So yeah, for now, let's just cover what Mnisi's cross-examination was all about, because we cannot afford to delay it or miss it or misinterpret what he was saying or the questions he was posing to Mangena yesterday. So Advocate Mnisi continued with his cross-examination by asking about Mangena's training. And he started off by asking him, is it also true that CMS stands for conservative matching? Well, Mr. Anonymous, I need your assistance here, technical wise. But yes, he asked, is it also true that CMS stands for conservative matching striations? And Mangena said yes. Mnisi said that you fired a number of bullets and went on to compare 5 and 9 with the exhibit bullet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So sorry guys, we're having technical difficulties again today. So I'm just trying to fix this and then we will continue where we left off. Oh my God, Mr. Anonymous. When you start off the show with saying, I'm not going to be saying a lot today, it just sets the mood in a dark tone for me.
Yeah, does it?
It does for me. It's like, what is going on now with all of these disclaimers?
No, I'm really going through it in terms of my body. I think the most important thing is to cover what happened so that we can have a next day.
So we can have the next day. Now I have to be honest though, guys. I mean, this is cross-examination style. It's exhausting. I don't like it. I know for those who are like, yes, Mnisi, yes, yo, for me, the repetition of the questions, I can't deal. I can't stand it sometimes. I feel like maybe, yes, he has to emphasize and all of that, but I'm tired. Sometimes he exhausts me. That's just me. That's my personal opinion. And I know those of you who are for this case and who are impressed with Advocate Mnisi's doing don't necessarily agree with me. And it's fine. It's okay. But it's just not my style. I like you to get to the point, cover the point. Mgomezulu is more what I prefer. You understand? Mnisi then said you fired a number of bullets and went on to compare 5 and 9 with the exhibit bullets. And Mangena said that he compared all the bullets. So he fired 8 bullets and compared all of them is the question that was posed to him by Advocate Mnisi. And Mangena said yes. So why did you not mention all of them in your affidavit? You only mentioned test bullet 5 and test bullet 9. And Mangena said that he compared all of them, but for the chart in court, he only specifically used bullet 5 and 9. Now Mnisi asked him, why did you only use bullet 5 and 9? And Mangena said that that's where he could see the clear marks. Now Mnisi asked him, are you saying that the other bullets did not have markings? And Mangena said, my lord, all the bullets had markings. He just chose 5 and 9. So Mnisi then asked him, did you compare the bullets 5 and 3? And Mangena said that he tested all the bullets with the exhibits. Comparing the test bullets would not help. Mnisi then asked him that you requested Colonel Serrero to confirm your work. And Mangena said, I wanted to see if you agreed with my work. So Mnisi then said, in your confirmation, Colonel Serrero used 4 bullets, bullet 4, not 4 bullets, bullet 4 and bullet 8, test bullet 4 and test bullet 8. And Mangena said that, yes, I gave him all the tests and he chose bullet 4 and 8. And Mnisi then asked him in this section 212 affidavit, he says that he used bullet 4 and 8 to confirm your findings. And Mangena said that that was correct. And Mnisi said, you don't know if he used those bullets to confirm your bullet 5 and 9. And Mangena said that he didn't know if he compared the test bullets, but what he does know is that he gave him all the test bullets to compare with the exhibit bullets. So Mnisi then asked him, how do you explain that you fired CMJ bullets to confirm your tests, while Serrero used FMJ full meter jacket? And Mangena said that he started with the FMJs that were fired by Warrant Officer Rulofse, but they did not give him sufficient markings. Then he decided to fire the CMJ. And Mnisi asked him, you said you fired the CMJ copper meter jacket because they were softer and the markings would be better imprinted. Mangena said that not that there were no marks on the FMJ. There were marks. It's not necessarily that he could see them. And Mnisi said, you confirmed that the firearm was old and the barrel couldn't pass on marks properly. Mangena said that it could not pass on the marks clearly, but it was possible to transfer marks. You see, this answer is not really direct. It's not really to the point. It's not really giving me what I need. Mnisi then said, you say 8 bullets, you compared bullet 8 by Serrero was an FMJ. And Mangena said that's correct. And Serrero comes and confirmed your work that was done on CMJs using FMJs. Mangena said, my lord, I have already said that Rulofse's FMJs did not have proper markings, and that's why I fired my CMJs. It's not that I did not fire FMJs, I fired them as well. And Mnisi then asked him, in what region of the test bullet would an expert find striations? Mangena said, on the grooves. So Mnisi said, you're also familiar with the concept of same relative position within the context of ballistic analysis. Well, this one, it really caught Mangena off guard. What I remember him is really being stunned. It's almost as if he didn't or couldn't recall what same relative position was in the context of his ballistic analysis. But eventually he said that's correct. And Mnisi then said, how would you describe this concept? And Mangena said that on both items, they must be in the same position. You rotate simultaneously to see the marking. And when you rotate simultaneously, then you are in the same position. Mnisi said, let's use the concept in one exhibit. And Mangena said that you cannot apply that concept in one exhibit. What are you comparing to when you have one exhibit? You need to have 2 exhibits to compare the same relative position. And then Mnisi asked him that you take that exhibit and put it under a microscope to confirm. And Mangena said that's correct. So Mnisi then told him, let's assume you have not received the tool that the bullet from the scene could have been fired from. You put that exhibit under a microscope and you're able to identify certain marks. You would then identify. And then Mangena said that if you are not comparing, then I don't understand why you are marking. Mnisi said, we are not at the point of comparing. And Mangena said, I understand. There will be groves. And Mnisi said, days later, the investigating officer brings the firearm to do a matching. From that firearm, you'd fire test bullets. You will then go and retrieve the bullets from the scene and compare the two. And Mangena said that's correct. That grove on which the marks appear, would that not be the same relative area? Mangena kind of sighed here and he said, if I get the bullets and look at the groves, those are the same relative areas. I twist them simultaneously to see the markings. Mnisi then said, with due respect, I'm going to put it to you that you have it all wrong. That is going to be demonstrated when the matter progresses that you had it all wrong. Mangena did not give an answer to this, and Advocate Baloyi raised an objection to say that it has been put to the witness that he got it all wrong without laying the basis. Mnisi then said, I don't understand the basis of the objection. The judge then said, logically, this witness must be told what the right process is because they say he got it all wrong. And Mnisi said that I have just said that it will be demonstrated when the trial progresses, that he got it all wrong. And the judge said, okay. So Mnisi continued with his cross-examination. It seems like this objection was not much of a big deal. Mnisi then turned to the chart that he asked Mangena to prepare. The chart was beamed in court showing the identified individual markings on the test bullet and the bullet found at the crime scene. So this is the chart that we had to adjourn for. This is the chart that yesterday when Advocate Mnisi was like, I can't go through this for 30 minutes. This was the chart. So Mangena then confirmed that the bullet on the left of the screen is from the crime scene, while the other one on the right was the test bullet. And he said that the arrows on the chart, they showed the striations. So apparently he had marked the striations on the bullet with arrows on that chart. So Mnisi was using the chart in the context of CMS, the continuous matching striations, and Mangena said that it is the sequence of matching stria. So he then went to the second line that Mangena identified, and Mnisi said, this is your second line, and Mangena said, yes. Let us look between the arrow number 1 and number 2. What is identifiable there? And Mangena said that the space between the two is equal, and asked if those are not those, whether or not those are striations. And Mangena said they were. And Mnisi asked him, do they go through to the test bullet, which is on the right? And Mangena said that they continue to the test bullet, but they are not visible at the beginning. He said that if you continue, then you will see them. This is where I have a problem, you guys. I have a problem with this because I'm like, okay, at this point, as he was testifying, it was giving or feeling like Mangena is the only one who could see those striations. I don't know. It gave me those vibes that it seems like he's the only one. So whether they are there or not there, Mangena says they are there, and just because Mangena says they are there, then they must be there. Whether they can see them or not doesn't really matter. But Mangena is saying that they are there, you know. So it felt at some point like maybe he should bring a microscope so that they all look through it using the same bullet. Maybe they will see what Mangena is seeing. Yeah, but I don't know. It is what it is. So he said, like I said before, this is a soft bullet. If it bends, then there won't be clear markings on the first part, but you see them as it continues. Mnisi then said, why then are they not marked? You had the whole weekend to do this. Advocate Baloyi raised an objection and said that the assignment was to mark the identifiable marks. In his explanation, Mnisi said that nobody said he should not identify the marks. He may see in the middle. He continued with his cross-examination, and Mangena said that he pointed out sufficient marks, not all the marks, some marks, sufficient marks to be specific, not all the marks, not all the marks, marks that were just sufficient.
So what was a very important thing today, without having to look at what they were beaming, is number one, that there's definitely a breakage between the markings. And Mnisi hammered on the issue of if the marking happened to be similar from the beginning, which is on the first striation, then the second one, they are not. How do you read that? In my opinion, without being an expert, that means that is not a match. there is no way, even if there is that breakage, which is caused by this slippage of the bullet as it spins, that when it comes back to marking, it will come back with a different striation marks. I don't believe that. So Mnisi Mabena on the other side, he believes that he should jump that one and continue reading the other ones, even though the unique identifiers, the individual marks, are showing that they are not consistent in terms of how they continuously mark even after the so-called slippage. This is where he lost me, because that shows that you disregard the dissimilarities that are there for the sake of hoping for the next marking that shows similarities. And that is where the problem is. But after going through this whole process of also reading about the markings, and I think is wrong. I stand to be corrected. I will probably, when I get time, if I do have time and I have energy, just make a video on this, because I have read a bit on it also. I don't think that's what as an expert you would do, because then once you have this breakage that comes in and it comes with a negative or dissimilarities, how then do you continue reading that as a matching bullet? So that's why the emphasis was today on the issue of the readings and how the readings are done. It seems as if this man, as Mnisi submitted later on, that he was fascinated by finding, and he does say it in his testimony. He does say it that he was always gonna, even if was always gonna find. There seems to be this interest of, I want to make sure that I find these things, even if they are not there. Even if there's no match, I will make a way.
Now he's giving me those vibes, Vel. It's
that's
like
what it
either
seems
or
like.
way he was gonna find something.
Because the funny story is that a Cleveland case was made on the very same gun, and in fact it was made on the FMJ bullets, right? That
yes.
means the gun was marked, and this is something of 2015, right?
Yes.
So that means the gun was marking properly. Rulofs was able to find the marks, right?
Yes.
On the FMJ. Same thing that happened earlier on, 2014. You are saying the marks were not clear.
On Rulofs.
The marks were not clear on Rulofs'
Which is where he lost me. I'm like, how are you comparing?
So you are undermining Rulofs' work,
yet you are using his work, and worse,
that was not
two
disputed.
Different cases.
Yes.
It's the reason why they are not the same is because it's two different cases. The onus is on you, Mangena, to prove whether your work is legit or not.
Like you are hoping on this Rulofs' work, and you are making him look bad also, because now what are you saying? Are you saying that the case was based on lies because the readings were difficult with FMJ, such that you had to find CMJ and read on the CMJ?
And here's the irony with the situation is the fact that Rulof says testing was done immediately after the arrest of accused number 3. It didn't take a decade or many years before that firearm was found, right? And it matched, according to Rulof say, he was able to make it a positive, or not really make it a positive, but he was able to test positive for it for the Cleveland case regarding accused number 3, which is currently serving time for. You understand what I'm saying? There was a conviction there, successful conviction. But when it comes to Mangena and the fact that he was also there around the time of the incident or hours after the incident took place itself. Today, when he's testifying, he speaks as if he talked to the people that were in the house. He speaks as if he wanted to know their side of the story or to know aspects of their. He defends his work using their testimonies.
While
However,
also denying that he talked to them. He had no need to talk to them because
it's very confusing.
Because all that he's looking for is physical evidence, which will be the bullet and the rest of the things. But yet, when it comes to defending his doings of how he read the bullet movement and how he positioned people in the house, he's relying on the evidence that was given during the replaying of the scene, which means that you would have engaged with people who were in the house. That is where the problem is, and you see the inconsistencies that are happening with this man. It's shambolic. It's
where is the recording of his work from the 27th when he first arrived on the scene? Where is that part of his work? Because it seems like the only work that he's testifying on is when Brigadier Gininda came in and said, let us do investigations. And then it became sort of like a do-over. That's the only thing that he talks about. But finding out that he was there, he was part of the police that first arrived there, and he's testifying like this, I'm very conflicted. I don't know what's happening with Mangena, specifically with this case.
He is not a consistent witness in terms of his testimony, in my own opinion. It seems as if he moves with the wind. If the state stands up and defend him on a certain thing, he shifts and takes it and he starts making that they make. So he's evasive, in my own opinion. He's not interested in answering the questions according to his expertise, which is a problem from someone who's relying on science to now be found shape-shifting from one position to another, changing as the evidence proceeds, and as the understanding of a judge and Baloyi is. It seems as if there's a really. It's not Mangena that we saw with Oscar Pistorius, in my opinion. He's not giving me the vibes of someone who's confident of his work. And that can only mean one thing, that there is no proper evidence that links this gun to the situation that happened in that house. It is not clear. And then you with regards to I mean, this thing of FMJ is important.
Yes.
Rudolph's matching is important, and yet we must ignore it and focus on what you are now saying. And that's a problem with me, because this person is in jail because of that matching. So how can we rely on your matching that is still trying to put this person or pin this person against this gun? The gun is not denied. The gun was his because he was arrested for it, and the shootings that took place, and the testing was done.
Yes.
And on top of the testing was done, there was a checking if there are no other cases that probably are joined to code or whatever. There was nothing found. And here is this person who happens to find something at a very convenient time. You find something. We must not ignore that. We cannot ignore that. It is funny how you are finding your findings actually. it is not giving peace for someone who's an expert, someone who understands what they are doing. Is telling us about breakage and how the reading of the breakage after that, regardless of whether it's similar, if it comes back or not, you still would read it the same way. That's a very crazy way of thinking of it. So if it was matching, you still read it as matching. If it was not matching, when it comes back after the breakage, you still read it as matching. What the hell?
Well, from what we remember is that the assignment that Mangena was given was to go and prepare how exactly he analyzed the bullets and the bullets in question, the ones that were at the scene and the test bullets. So today he was giving all some kind of story about how he only presented charts about bullet 5 and bullet 9. So now Mnisi was reminding him that that was the assignment for him to go and identify all the marks. Nobody said he must limit himself. Well, then Baloyi objected and said that they are not going to repeat themselves, but that was not the purpose of the exercise. The purpose was for him to mark the identified marks. And eventually we heard Mangena also use this as well as a reason, as a part of what he was told to go and prepare. He's now taking his instructions of what he was supposed to prepare from the state and not from Mnisi anymore. So it was very interesting. So after the tea adjournment, Mnisi said that before the adjournment, you mentioned that you identified 4 striations on the test bullet. And Mangena said that that's correct. And Mnisi said, please point them out on the bullet from the crime scene. And Mangena said, yes, they are not visible at the beginning, but as you continue, then you see them. Mnisi asked him to go over them one by one. And he said, if you say they are visible, then you can count them, right? Mangena said that they are there, but you cannot count them. It would be of no use for him to count them. Yeah. Like I said, it seems like Mangena is the only one who can see them. Maybe he should have bought a microscope so that people can see. Because it seems like Mnisi could not see them, you know. Yet he insisted, Mangena, that they are there. They are there. He insisted. So Mnisi now turned to the crime scene. And he asked him, what exactly did you do at the crime scene? Mangena said that he took pictures and measurements of the bullet marks. What else, he was asked, and he said that's all. That's all he did. So Mnisi said, you also attended the post-mortem. Mangena said that's correct. He attended it the next day and asked who he was accompanied by, any colleagues, and Mangena said he was. Mnisi then said, besides the doctor and the assistant, who else was there? Mangena said Mhlahlo was there, another guy from the LCRC. He said he can't recall who else was there. So Mnisi put Tumelo's Madlala's version of what happened in the house when a shot went off to Mangena. And he said that it does not support his findings from the crime scene reconstruction. Baloyi objected and said that this is put with the assumption that one shot was fired. This became now a whole thing. This became now a whole thing where between those 2 shots that were fired, Advocate Baloyi was saying that this question that you are now posing to Mangena, you're putting it with the assumption that only 1 shot was fired. Meanwhile, some are speaking of 2 shots. The judge said that the defense said that Mandlala is lying and asked whether Mnisi is using the evidence to discredit the witness. Here, it seemed like he was trying to inflict some kind of doubt so that Mnisi maybe stops to where he was going. Mnisi said that Madlala's evidence is clear when the first shot went off. To me, this was quite concerning because I'm like, okay, it seems like you are presenting like you have already picked the side. You believe Madlala's version.
No, it didn't seem like that.
What was happening there? It seemed like to me the judge was
Can I?
believing, all right.
do you proceed to discredit this witness on the basis of what Madlala said? That question is insinuating. That's why Mnisi followed that question up, because it's a very interesting position from the judge to give verdicts before we even finish the whole proceedings.
Yes, yes.
In a sense, he was caught with the pens down, saying he is not to believe Dumelo's evidence. And this is funny because even if you happen to lie, but there's still a way of maybe scooping some of the things and making them a part of your, even the lies themselves. You know how to deal with them, but also have to have that eye of knowing when the person is lying or when the person is not lying.
Okay.
So he was, in a sense, saying that you cannot discredit this person on the basis of the lies.
Oh.
He was giving judgment on what Dumelo
Was saying.
had testified on. That's why after that he tried to cover that up, in my opinion, saying all these other things that were immaterial at the time. From a judge, a seasoned judge, it was wrong to be found saying such. It was wrong. And he didn't even know how to come back from that because it was wrong. You can't say that. It's like you saying that Zungu was lying before even the case finishes.
Okay, so the judge is not supposed to do that. This trick, he has done it before. It's just that I didn't understand what he was trying to do, but I've seen him do this before. Are you sure? Are you sure you want to? Do you guys remember that? You know? Then Mangena said that anything could have happened after the first shot went off. Tumelo clearly said that he ran off to the bedroom after hearing that first shot. So people could have changed positions, but the door was behind the deceased when the shot was fired, and the shot was fired in a downward trajectory.
No, this man is not saying people could have. He's saying people changed position. Dumelo was gone. There was, in fact, it does say it could have been that they changed position on the basis of the time. He's claiming the second shot took a while before it came through.
Because they were all running to
But then again, he's using the evidence. I mean, he's using their evidence, the witnesses.
That he claimed he was not interested
in. He was not interacting with them.
And he said he wasn't interested in knowing their stories and knowing because witnesses lie or something like that. That's what he said yesterday. He wasn't interested in knowing their versions fresh onto the scene. I mean, he could have helped the quality of his work so much, but he decided not to participate and ask them.
When is asked, where are you getting that? That it took time between the first and the second bullet. Where did you get that? Because you did not question people in the house. You used physical evidence.
Yes.
As you say, you do not use the witnesses' evidence because as they can lie. That's what you're saying.
He said that. So now he's using it.
Okay.
Mnisi then said, it's interesting that you speak about a time lapse. How do you know that? Mangena said that you just read that Dumelo Madlala ran to the bedroom. And Mnisi was like, where? You were not listening. Madlala's transcript was beamed in court and Mangena highlighted the part where Madlala said that he ran to the bedroom. It was actually towards the end. He ran to the bedroom. So after the long adjournment, Nisi now asked him, now you said subsequent to your visitation at the scene on the 27th of October 2014, you also attended another incident where there was an interview, but that was held with the people in the house. Tell us about that incident. And Mangena said that there was a team that was assembled to conduct the investigations in the case. They had the report that he had compiled from the crime scene. So Mnisi then asked him which team it was, and Mangena said that there was a team from the province. Then there was another team that was led by members by the DPCI, where they went to do the reconstruction of the scene. And Mnisi asked him, do you still remember the members of that team? And Mangena said that the DPCI team was led by General. I couldn't hear properly, but it seems like the interpreter got it. It was Mokotedi. Yeah. And he said that he can't remember the other members who were there. The intention for him to be there was to hear the version of the witnesses who were at the scene. Mangena confirmed that he was requested by General Mokotedi to be there, and he was given the versions of the witnesses, although he initially made a mistake and said of the accused. But now he said of the witnesses who were there, and they explained what transpired is exactly the same as what Tumelo said. They were all in the house. The shot went off and they all ran to different rooms. But on the position of the deceased, that's where he said he explained that it's based on the physical evidence. So he doesn't know the others on how their versions happened there. Mangena said that his version is clear. It's what he could determine, it's what he found at the crime scene. But the other versions, he was not going to listen to them. Mnisi said the format of the interview, what was it? And Mangena said that it was an acting. They would act where they were. They all acted in the house. So basically it was a reenactment of what had happened during that night. And Mangena said that it was happening, he was observing. However, he wasn't taking notes. This is not giving I am interested in the details.
It's not even about giving I'm interested. The issue here is that he wants to eat where he does not want to recognize what he's eating. Yes, I want the evidence. I want to use the evidence of these people, these witnesses, but I will not recognize them. I will not even give it any what do you call it? Any weight.
Okay.
I did not even take notes. I did not listen to the witnesses I did not take notes. Because you want to use what they said so that you can maneuver your way out. But you don't want to recognize it.
Like
because if you recognize it, that means you were involved in this case and you were already in a position of being biased. From where you stand, the ballistic expert should always be neutral as you hear towards the end. So you being involved to this level, then it renders you biased because already you have a certain position that you have taken mentally before you even go to compare. You already know what you want to see.
Mangena said that it was a reenactment and he could not recall whether it was recorded or what, but he was just looking and then he went out. Mangena said that he explained the same scenario of the incident, and it represented it to them. Mangena said the reenactment happened at the same time. He was accompanied by no one from his unit. He was alone. And Nisi asked him who were the participants of this reenactment. And Mangena said he did not know those people who were doing the acting. But the witnesses were telling them that this is what they did, and then the person would react the same way as being described by the person who was in the house. So Mnisi then asked him, now you said at some point Brigadier Gininda requested you to go and take some measurements and have a physical observation of those that he referred to as the people of interest in this case. Then he went to Mr. Mncube, who's accused number 3. Mnisi asked him to repeat the story about Mr. Mncube's scars on his legs. Mangena said that when he looked at the reconstruction that he did, the first bullet has hit the floor in a 90-degree angle and it fragmented. So the fragments which come from the bullet could have hit anyone who was close within that vicinity. He told himself to just check their legs. If there's any scars from the fragments, if he can see something that he can identify so that those scars might be linked to that thing. I know when he said that thing, Advocate Mnisi laughed at this point, and I was like, that thing. Mangena continued to say that when he went to accused number 3 after taking the measurements, he asked him to take his shoes off and socks. He must take them off. He said that when he was young, accused number 3 rather told him the story that when he was young, he was playing soccer and was playing in the field, and the scars that were on his legs could be from his childhood when he was playing there. And Mnisi actually at this point heard the interpreter say something else, because now he was correcting him to say that scars are not the same as fresh open wounds. Ibazi versus ilonda. I don't know, Mr. Anonymous. I'm not Zulu. Ibazi, ilonda. What's the difference?
Islonda is a wound. Isbazi is a mark.
Is a mark. Okay, so the interpreter said that he was saying there was an open wound before it became a scar. Our interpreter. He cracks me up, honestly speaking. He said, yeah.
Mister, please repeat.
Okay, can you repeat that? Random. Can you repeat? Oh, he killed me. Then Mnisi asked Mangena if he was happy with accused number 3's explanation. Mangena said that he checked, but he could not see any scars. So he had no scars. And then Mangena said that he couldn't see them. You couldn't see them.
Even if they were there.
They were not there.
How would you identify that those are the same scars that are coming from the fragment?
That's why he couldn't see them. So Mnisi then asked him, so he was basically saying to you that even if you check, there's a scar.
Please like the video. 194 from 400 viewing. Please like the video. If you feel that we deserve that like, please like the video, please.
If there is a scar you can find, just know that me, when I was a youngster, I grew up playing soccer and we would get injured because we did not have the luxury of playing on soft surfaces, always playing in rocky areas, hard surfaces. Then Mangena said that was his explanation. Accused number 3 raised his hand at this point, and Advocate Mnisi went to him, and when he returned, he asked Mangena, how did he know that was the first shot that was fired? The one that could have left fragments on any of the accused's feet that he went around looking for in the prisons. How did he know that was the first shot that was fired? Mangena said that if you listen to all the versions, now he's using the versions. The versions, initially he didn't care to find out or know. Now they come in handy for his testimony. So he was saying that if you listen to all the versions, especially of those who were in the house, when the first shot went off, they all ran away and they heard the second shot. The second shot was when the deceased was shot. All of them were not around the area. So he said he could not determine if that was he could determine that that was the first shot from the fact that everyone ran away after that first shot. And he believes that the second shot is the one that ended Senzo's life. Well, Mnisi then said, you said that when you listen, when did you have the opportunity to listen to the versions of the witnesses? That's the first shot that was shot was at a 90-degree angle. Mangena said that he first heard of the versions of the witnesses when they were reenacting at the scene. So Mnisi then said the pursuit of the investigation relating to the injury on the foot, was it not as a result of a request that was done by Brigadier Gininda that you should go and visit Mr. Mncube, check his height, and also check his feet? Mangena said the request from the brigadier was about the height, not about possible injuries or the scars on the foot. So Mangena confirmed that the height measurements and the checking of the injury in the feet happened on the same day. So Mnisi then asked him, out of your own accord, because of what you heard from the witnesses, you also went to the foot. Which instructions never came from Brigadier Gininda? Is that not so? And Mangena said that if it's ballistic evidence that he must look at, he's going to look at it. He said, I'm going to wait for Brigadier Gininda to ask me that.
I'm not going to wait
for Brigadier Gininda to ask me that. So Mangena said that if it's ballistic related, he will continue to that. But if it's not related to ballistics, he will not do it. So Mnisi then said, when you visited Mr. Sibia, accused number 1, you requested him to take off his shoes and socks to look at his feet. And Mangena said that with accused number 1 and 2, he didn't do that exercise. So this is very interesting. So if with accused number 1 and number 2, you didn't do that exercise, why?
Because it was targeted to accused number 3 as they are portraying him as a shooter. That's what Mnisi is trying to prove. That this was a witch hunt. You are looking for something that is going to give you accused number 3 on a silver platter.
He said they also did it with accused number 4, and they did not do it with accused number 5. Of course, we know he said no. So Mnisi then said, you, an expert in ballistics, were you involved in taking evidence of this case? Were you a part of the investigating team of this case? And Mangena said that he was a part of the investigating team from the first team that started with this case. Every time they would need consultation, they would call him and consult with them. And then he'd go back. And if they have any exhibits that need to be compared, then they would not call him. Or they would call him and bring exhibits. Just like they brought all the firearms, they would call him as part of the team. But when they do other investigations, he was not a part of it. So literally saying that they would call him on ballistic related issues only. So Mnisi then said to him, let's take it back. The investigation team would ask you to come look at certain things. What team asked you to come and look at what things? Mangena said that when they had meetings, they would call him to the meetings. He'd attend the meetings. If they have any evidence that is ballistic related, they would call him, and they would want him to compare other exhibits or other tests with the exhibit bullets from the scene. They would let him know, then he will do the examinations. Notice how he doesn't want to be specific and detailed about the process, especially from 2014, maybe around the time that now he started being on the hunt for accused number 3's gun. There's so much gaps there. There's so much question marks. He even himself, he doesn't want to talk about it. By the quality of his answers, he's diverting a lot. He doesn't want to speak specifically which team. It was a very simple question. I mean, this is a case he's been on from day one. He should know that around 2015, the team changed, or it did not change. Around 20 something, the team changed. Now I'm speaking to now I'm speaking to this one. Now I was being contacted by this team. But no, he doesn't want to get into the details of that. So Mnisi then asked him, which team asked you to come and look at what and where was the meeting held? Give us an example that was led by General or Commissioner so and so. He literally wanted him to be specific. But then Mangena said that with General Mukotedi from DPCI, he called him when they went to the scene. And then with General Gininda, General Ndlovu, I'm assuming this is Brigadier Ndlovu, the one who passed away. He was from the Vosloorus police station, and he said that when he attended the meeting at the boardroom, they attended a meeting at the boardroom there at the Vosloorus police station with Brigadier Ndlovu. So Mnisi then said, would that also be the reason why you were involved in this up and down triceps of fetching trips of fetching exhibits from the police station to the ballistic forensic science laboratory? You know how this question is phrased? It's like you were busy taking trips to go look for guns, leaving the lab, and what would be the reason for you to do that? And Mangena said that it is not the up and down of fetching exhibits. He says that he examined and he could see and he wanted to get the firearm, and he drove to go get the firearm, and then he came back. Simple as that. Also the lack of explanation as to how he linked the firearm as well. It's like, okay, I was in the lab working with these bullets, and then I found the firearm. And then I went to fetch the firearm. So Mnisi said that he would come back to the issue of the firearm, and even noted it down to say, you know what, I'm going to come back to this. And then he asked him, is it correct that your position as an expert is perceived as a neutral position? Mangena said that's correct. And he asked him again, is it correct about the perception of your position is one that should be as follows? You are at the forensic science laboratory. Investigative officers who are foot soldiers are the ones that bring exhibits to you. You analyze them, you give them results, then they see what they do with those results.
Yeah.
Isn't that supposed to be the case? Mangena said yes. He compiles a report and gives it to them. But then Mnisi said the very same reason why it is so is because you want to maintain the integrity of the institution that you work for, which is the South African Science Forensic Laboratory in the ballistic section. Now, how did you continue to maintain the integrity and the neutrality when Brigadier comes and says, so you can come and take me for measurements, and then you go there? The people that you're supposed to be getting measurements from, and at your own little investigation, just say you look at their foot freely, willy-nilly, out of nowhere. You just decide, let me look at their foot.
Yeah.
When that was not a specific mandate from Brigadier Gininda, how did you maintain the neutrality in those circumstances? Or in that instance, Mangena said that Brigadier Gininda did not say that he must go get the height of the accused or the suspects in this matter. Brigadier Gininda asked him, based on the reconstruction of the incident, the trajectory that he did, can it be possible to determine if he had the person of this height, to determine if a person of this height can be the shooter or the height of the shooter in this case. So it's because it's ballistic related. That's why he says that he did it. If it was not ballistic related, then he would not have went there.
Oh, that's how you keep your integrity of the institution. You go fetch the gun in an exhibit bag that is open. you allow it. I mean, in a normal day, you would not allow such, right? You would keep them, take them back. But because you are the one who fetched it, how can you not allow it? Because it's you denying yourself the chance of doing what you wanted to do so bad that you had to go fetch the gun, and eventually it linked.
Well, Mnisi was tired of this very vague answer, and he told him, "You are now repeating it in your own words. Brigadier Gininda does not say to you that, can you please also check on their foot?" Mangena said that Brigadier Gininda is not a ballistic expert. He is the expert. Mangena, uthi
In
mina,
charge, Mangena. As a speaks like the
I am the expert. I am the one who came up with that possibility, or the fact that it's possible if the person was in the vicinity, it's possible that the fragment hit their foot. It cannot be ruled out. So I just want to check for the person who was hit by those fragments. And Mnisi asked him, "You did that out of your own accord?" Baloyi objected. He said that this is the third time that the question is being asked. The witness has said that anything ballistic related, that is his competency. There's no reason why this is being repeated over and over again. So the judge said to Mr. Mnisi that yesterday he asked this very same question, but he will allow it.
How can a judge just lie like that?
You know, the way he said it with a serious face, even I thought maybe Mnisi asked this question yesterday.
Oh, this was a lie. There was no court
I
sitting
thought
yesterday.
maybe he asked it. I thought maybe Mnisi asked this question yesterday and it just flew over my head.
Oh, there
But
was no sitting yesterday.
there was no sitting. Because Mnisi was challenging him, was saying, "Let's listen to the recording." I doubted myself. There was like Mnisi, are you sure? There was no sitting yesterday. And he lied with a straight face. Ooh, ayu judge uzongibakela stress. Well, he said he can move on for the 10th time if he wants to, throwing shade. Mnisi then asked to look at the record where he asked that, and the judge said yes. Yes. As if he was irritated.
Irritated by the lies. The man is lying. I think he realized that, oh shit, yesterday we're not sitting.
Well, Mangena said the same question was asked several times. This is after they came in and rescued him. You see what I mean? Mnisi then said, "I could be asking this question so many times. The point that I'm driving at is your neutrality as a member of the Forensic Science Laboratory of South Africa in the ballistics section, and the integrity that you need to keep when you just decide to do things willy-nilly out of your own accord simply because you are a ballistic expert. Does that not have an impact on your neutrality that you should always have as a ballistic expert?" And Mangena said that if I get a crime scene where a vehicle has been shot, if I am able to determine where this person was shot, was inside the vehicle, I'm not going to wait for the IO to ask me. I'm going to mention that this person was shot whole inside the vehicle. So if it's anything ballistic related, I'm going to mention it to the IO. We are there to assist and guide the investigation in its ballistic related evidence. Well, that's the problem that I have here. I look at the Senzo Meyiwa case and I'm thinking, where were you on the 26th and the 27th? Why are you not speaking like this? Okay, why? Where were you? What did you record? What were your findings when you arrived at the scene? And he said, if I assist, it does not mean that I am biased. Mnisi then said, the example you just gave is way out. What you did in this instance, Mr. Mncube was in prison. Was that the scene of the crime? Mangena said, according to the IO, was he not a person of interest? You're not answering the question, Mr. Mangena. Then Mnisi said, Brigadier Gininda asked you to come and measure accused number 3 because he was a person of interest. And if he is a person of interest, I'll do anything that has to do with ballistics. That's what Mangena said. And the judge was like, in the background. He was doing that a lot at this part of I'm like, is it because you are agreeing, or because you just want to make that sound, or Okay. Well, then Mnisi said, I hear the court saying, but nonetheless, I'm going to put it to you, sir, that your conduct in this particular instance totally removed the neutrality you had to have as an expert in ballistics. You became a part of the investigation team. And I'm going to tell you what demonstrates that. And Mangena said that if the investigation officer is requesting assistance that is ballistic related, he's going to be a part of it. And he asked me to be a part of it. And I'm going to guide them dealing with any ballistic related evidence. It does not mean that I'm biased. And Mnisi said, I said that I'm going to tell you why I'm saying you did that. You have tried, you went your way. You even went to the extent of ignoring the very same teachings of the gentleman that I asked you about. That man that he was asking him about, I can't pronounce his surname. He says he taught you what your, definitions, what they stand for in the job that you're doing, the art of identifying striations, the art of comparison of bullets, the crime scene bullet and the test bullet, despite the fact that on the totality of the evidence you just gave in your own version, when you said that there was no proper transferability or reproducibility of the striations, nonetheless, you went on to find that the bullet that was found at the scene does not accord and compare with the bullet which you have trialed. And the reason why you did that is because you wanted to nail Mr. Mncube. As the state told you, he is the person who had the firearm on that day. So Mangena said, I will say it with confidence, and I'm 100% sure that the bullet that was found is positively linked to this firearm. I have no doubt on that one. And I will put my pictures there that shows enough marks that were transferred from the firearm to those bullets. Now, this reminded me of, I'll put my head on a chopping block. Who still remembers?
I will still do.
It reminded me so much of that when he said that. I was like, oh. It reminded me so much of, I'll put my head on a chopping block. Well, Mncube was laughing there in the background. I saw him. I was like, yo, where's accused number 3? Mnisi then said, I'm going to put it to you in terms of the consecutivity of the calculations of the striations. Because you wanted a result, you went against their teachings and found that the bullet that was sent to you as seen does match those bullets which fired the test bullet from the alleged firearm. I've put my court chart on the screen with 6 striation marks that appear both on the exhibits, and I've marked only 6 of them because according to the CMs, you only need 6 marks to make it a positive of 2 sets or 3. So it seems like Mangena did what he did until he found 6, and he was like, okay, 6 is exactly what I need. And that was enough for him.
WS, welcome. Welcome.
WS, welcome. So if I have to show more of that, then I'll do that because the minimum is 6. That's why I only showed 6. I did not compile only one chart. I compiled 4 of them. Why is he only concentrating on the one? The others, you are leaving them out. He's asking Mnisi this question. While on the other hand, he used the same bullet 5 and 9 test bullet 5 and 4 apparently for all the charts that he was preparing over the weekend. No wonder why it took 2 hours. That's what he said. So this is Mnisi now was reminding him that I'm going to put it to you that you only use test bullet 5 and test bullet 4. All the charts, 4 of them, they are just duplicates. Mangena said that the court chart that he started with, that he presented in court, was requested, or that what he was requested to point out the marks from, is the same court chart. That's why he used the same court chart. He didn't do it for other charts. So Mnisi then said, you fetch the firearm as a request of Brigadier Gininda from Cleveland, the firearm you used to ultimately find the test bullet from. And Mangena said that Brigadier Gininda did not request him to go fetch the firearm. Now, this is very interesting. I found it very interesting, you guys. He said that he compared the test, which was fired by one officer, Wolfse, with the bullet from the crime scene. And after that, he compared that he could see the similar things, but could not see the clear individual markings on the test bullets. And he says he called Brigadier Gininda and informed him that he wanted that firearm and he wanted to shoot additional tests, but the bullets are 2 different types of bullets. So he informed the firearm is at Cleveland Police Station SAP 13, and he said that the firearm did not have the serial number. So he's not sure if they were going to get the firearm, or he wasn't sure at the time if they were going to get it. And he said that he'll go look for it because he knows that where to start looking for it. Because he knows where to start looking for it, he will be able to identify the firearm. This to me made me unsettled.
It would make anyone unsettled. It's crazy. It's a very crazy explanation of how things unfold.
It troubled me, this explanation that he was given, that he knew the firearm. He knew exactly what it looked like from bullets. And he went straight to the Cleveland police station knowing exactly what
is he looking for.
Now this gave me the heebie-jeebies.
Right.
It scared me. Then he said that he knows where to start looking for the firearm. And Mnisi said, realizing that there is a similarity between the test bullet from Rulofse and the scene bullet, although there were no individual markings on Rulofse's bullet, then you formed a view that you needed the firearm. Why didn't you request Gininda to bring that firearm himself? Mangena said that, as I said, I know how to identify that firearm. If I would say to Brigadier, you can go to the station and fetch it, how many firearms were at the station without the serial number? He could have brought any firearm and maybe even brought the wrong firearm. So if I go there, I know how to identify the firearm. And then I said, I'll go look for it so that I can find it. And I've mentioned that if the firearm was with the owner or with the company, I would have gone and fetched it. And I would have asked him to go fetch it for me. Now, this is worrying. You want to be above and beyond your job description as a ballistic laboratory forensic analyst. Because apparently this is not a part of your duties that you're supposed to do, go around fetching exhibits. And you are telling us that you knew what the firearm looked like. And you knew that should you send Brigadier Gininda, he might bring a wrong one. Haibo, Mangena. No, something is not right. Then Mnisi said, when you received the firearm, the seal back was broken. Not all the firearms that were in the SAP 13 are in seal bags. Now Mangena is saying that not all the firearms that are in the SAP 30. While Mjali, do you guys still remember Mjali flat out denied that he stays with firearms with open seal bags in the SAP 13. He said, I have the keys. I'm very careful with these keys. I take them with me everywhere I go. One mistake, people steal guns. One mistake, it will be my fault. That's what he said. Do you guys remember that?
We do.
Then Mnisi said, now that this is very interesting. While Mjali said that the firearms were set for a distraction or distraction. Not distraction, distraction. They were going to be destroyed. And each firearm had to be put in a sealed bag. He said it with no doubt. And he was very specific about it. And you have said, when I asked you, what does the lab do when they receive a firearm in a broken seal bag? And your answer was, we don't even receive it. Why did you receive this one? Mangena said that when the detective books out the firearm from the SAP-13 to send them to the lab for analysis, you find them not in a sealed bag. They seal them so that they can send them to us for analysis. Now, in this case, the firearm was at SAP-13. It was sent for distraction. It was in a box. Now it was in a box. But he says it was still in the bag that was sealed by Warrant Officer Rulofse when the firearm went back to the police station. The judge again was saying, I caught that. Then Mnisi said, one can safely say that the reason why Brigadier Gininda continued with this this is my opinion actually. Do you think that the reason why Brigadier Gininda could have possibly went on and on and on, the hope was provided by Mangena? Do you guys think it's Mangena's fault that we are here?
Yeah, it feels like that. It feels like Mangena is the one who went over and above, jumped the bullet, went wherever to the mile.
And considering the fact that
the brigadier,
he was there from the beginning.
Brigadier. So yeah, Mangena is part and parcel of the problems that could be in this case, in my opinion.
Well, Mnisi asked Mangena to show them the line where it said that the firearm was found in a box, in a seal that was sealed by Mr. Roloff, said the Cleveland police station. The judge asked if this was his evidence, and then Mangena said that he found it in an open bag that was sealed by Warrant Officer Roloff after examining that firearm. And Mnisi asked him, he also mentioned a box there. I want to know about this box. What was in that box? Is the box in your affidavit? And Mangena said, if it's in a box, in a sealed bag, I don't mention the box. Why? You think that they are grouped according to some kind of format if they are in a box, right?
Yeah.
So that box is important. And the number of the box as well, because I'm sure it has a number. But then
as
Mnisi,
a badge.
as a badge, And then Mnisi then said, do you agree with me that what you have just told the court now is not in your affidavit? And Mangena said he didn't put it in his affidavit. He only mentioned the open bag with the same number that Warrant Officer Rulofse sealed it in. So he said that he didn't have to mention that it was in a box. He had to mention everything that he did at the station. He didn't have to mention everything that he did in the station. But how did you also know that it was the same bag that was sealed by Roloff? Then Nisi said, what is strange as well? Mr. Mchali said that he used his own seal bag, not a seal that was used by Warrant Officer Roloff. Remember, these firearms were in the process of going to be destroyed. And Mchali says, when I receive these firearms, there's categories. There are the ones that are going to be destroyed. There are the ones that are going to be stored. This one was being moved from being stored to being destroyed. And already this case was closed. Was it not closed?
Cleveland, yes.
The Cleveland case was already concluded. So it means that seal bag was open because it had to be used in court. Wasn't that firearm used in court?
Sure it was.
So it means if Mr. Mchali's testimony is anything to go by, he did repackage it in a different seal bag.
Yeah.
So now they're trying to say, no, Rulofse tested the firearm. It was never opened during trial. This is what they're saying. It was never opened during trial. It went to the SAP 13 exactly how Rulofse had packaged it from the time that he tested it. All the way until to when it was close to being destroyed. Do you see now what the problem is? Now, he said the seal that was broken was the seal that was used by Warrant Officer Rulofse. But Mtshali said no, he used a different seal. Not the one that was used by Rulofse. Mangena said on paragraph 7 of his report, on Monday, the 27th of July, 2020, he received the open seal bag with the serial number. He even gave the serial number of the Cleveland case. And then he said that this serial number matched the one that was on Rulof's statement. It was the exact same one. I don't think that matters at this point. For all we know, you could have looked at a warrant officer Rulof's statement and decided to do copy and paste. It doesn't really matter at this point. But it's your word against Mtshali's word, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Then Mnisi said it doesn't matter whether you found it in a bag that was used by Captain Mtshali or a seal bag that was used by Rulofse. The fact of the matter is that the seal bag was broken when you found it. And Mangena answered, and the judge, before he could answer, actually, the judge asked Mnisi to let Mangena finish. Mangena said that it matters a lot because it is the same bag that Warrant Officer Rulofse sealed. Okay, Mangena, but this is a problem though. I remember it being clearly stated by Rulofse that when the seal bags are open, you return the exhibit or something like that. You don't work on it. Did he not say that? I think he was asked that question between Rulofse and Musia. Those that work at the lab. Yeah, they all said that, you know, you don't open it. You don't work on it. But here is Warrant Officer Mangena working on exhibits that have been opened. I don't know, what is he hoping to achieve? Now we are here. We are in this situation. And you know, it's casting aspersions now, you know. And Mr. Mtshali told this court that he sealed it in his own seal bag. He was very surprised when I read this passage of your affidavit to him, that when you arrived there, you found it in an open seal bag. Baloyi asked that they have a court record to assist them, and the judge said that when he remembers the evidence, it's like he's talking like 120 firearms. He said Mnisi seems to forget that the evidence of Commander Zing, the Indian gentleman who said he was in charge of the destruction of redundant firearms, and he had signed a register that by a rule of say that it must be destroyed, but God works in strange ways. It was never destroyed. Well, it still doesn't change the fact that the seal bag was opened when Mangena found it and still continued with his investigation as if that was not some kind of a breach, you know. So Baloyi corrected the judge to say that it was actually Bayat and not Singh. And the judge said that Rulofse came to the court with a firearm and told him to bring it. I mean, he said, I was the one even insisting, I want to see it. The very same firearm, which is the issue of contention in this trial, he took it out. I grabbed it and looked at it and said, give it to each of the advocates. And then he gave it to the advocates. Then he had a blue box wherein there were about 9 or 13 cartridges. Maybe we should adjourn. People are tired. This is what Judge Ratam. He was now asking for the time.
After interfering, that's what he does all the time.
Maybe we should adjourn. People are tired, you know. And he said this witness never denied that there was an open bag. I mean, we're just wasting time. He agreed that when we got to Cleveland, he was there under the badges, or the firearm was there under the badges, which had to be destroyed. And Mtshali also said that. And when he asked Mtshali, do the firearms vanish at Cleveland? Then he said yes. He even said it in Zulu. Sonke siyazi, we all know that firearms vanish. Well, actually, what I remember is that Mtshali volunteered that information. In fact, he said the reason why he's careful with his job to not accept open exhibits or store open exhibits is because firearms vanish. Amen. Bazalwane.
Amen. Right? If you do want to call, less than 2 minutes, guys.
Let's make it quick today.
I'm going to close the lines and then close this. Paul Majan, thank you. Lula Masrai, thank you. Chukwana, thank you. Sizwe. Hey, Dean, thank you.
Rata was tired today.
Thank you. Yes, he was. Gavinson, thank you. Chukwana, thank you for being here. Louis Jonas, thank you for being here. Sia, thank you for joining us. Pumlani Buthelezi, thank you for being with us here. Adv Mnisi, thank you for being with us. Siponengu, thank you for being with us here. We appreciate you guys. Ntlantla Skosana, Mzansi, hello. Let's not waste your time. Mzansi, hello.
Hello?
Hi, how are you?
Oh, I'm all right, Mr. Ano. How are you?
I'm all right.
I think you know by now is this guy who's always hunting for his data. Even for today, I'm still hunting. I can't find it.
You cannot find it.
Are you sure? All right, I've got some few points to discuss today.
Please share.
Yeah, number one, tell me, man, Mr. Ans, in the crime scene, who is important? The witnesses or the experts, the crime scene experts? Who is important there?
The witnesses.
The witness.
But now, in South Africa, in this case, it seems as if now the experts are coming to be more than the witnesses now.
Yeah.
Because now the witnesses are telling them what they saw, but our witness for today come and say, "Aye, that does not work. This thing they did not see what they think they saw. This is what they saw." He's against them about the gun that they saw. He's against them about who was against the door and all that stuff. What is happening here?
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Nah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the second point, correct me if I'm wrong. Our witness today at the beginning, was there a point where he said he was also trained by the FBI?
Yes.
Oh, no, there's no way. There's no way. There's no way. I put my head on the block. We know how FBI operates. We know how they operate. He's far from how FBI operates. The FBI guys, Mr. Arnold, they will investigate you for 30 years if it needs be, up until they've got a concrete case.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not that they say, but this one is at the end, but this one doesn't match. No, it's him. We're going for arrest. FBI don't operate that way. Maybe he visited FBI headquarters for a week. Now he's thinking he's trained by the FBI. Aye, no ways. No ways.
Yeah.
Imagine now I'm visiting you guys there at the studio. I see how you operate. I come out. I call myself a studio expert. Does it work that way now?
No.
So I don't believe this guy was trained by the FBI. He must not come and lie. Yeah, that's the second lie. That's the second lie, Mr. Ann.
Yeah.
All right, running to my other point. Me, I'm not surprised because we guys are following this case.
Yeah.
Remember the doctor who was called to check in terms if he had a gold tooth or not?
Yeah.
The guy turned out to be a body expert if a person was tortured or not. Yes. Checking now for the scratches. Now he came to court not witness about the gold tooth or what.
Yeah.
No, he didn't have scratches. The nose was clean and all that stuff. Exactly with our witness now. Our witness was supposed to tell us the gun matched or not. It ends there.
Yes.
Now he's doing the investigation job. Let me go and check the injuries. Let me go and check what is happening here, this and that, this and that. Mr. Arnold, how does it work now?
Yeah, that's how it works in South Africa.
Yay.
That is why even at my work, I concentrate on my department, and if there's a fault requiring the other department, you call that department to come and check.
Yes.
Yeah, you can't be all changed. It doesn't work like that.
No. It does
One
not.
last point. Hey, Emily, I differ with you. Mr. Mnisi is all right. He's not boring his line of questioning. He can question for 6 or 7 months.
Oh my God.
Reason being, remember the state, what they did to us with the numbers.
Yes.
We fought for months and years. Number 084, 086, 08, what? That's when I was also scared that, hey, my number will be called here. Yeah, those guys, they torture us for a month or so with the numbers.
Yes.
So if it can take 3 years up until he can ask he can ask one question for the coming 6 months up until we get clarity. We want clarity here.
Until we get clarity.
No, he can ask one question 1,000 times. It cannot be said, hey, don't ask that, you asked it yesterday. Even if you asked it last week, you can ask it. We want to see if the guy is consistent or not.
Maybe it's the fatigue talking. I'm tired.
Yeah, no. Guys, that's all I wanted to raise, to say, there's no way that this guy is the FBI. It can't be. There's no way. The another thing, in a crime scene, the important people are the witnesses, not the experts. Imagine you coming and saying, hey, witnesses, stand aside. It's us now who are taking over the case. How does it work now? Yeah, no, that's all I wanted to scream about today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for
Thank
calling. You just made my body.
Right, hi, Mzansi Reality Family Church in Senzo Meyiwa's murder case trial lost it today. He's even lying about Advocate Mnisi, saying he's repeating the question that he asked the witness on Monday. When we remember the court adjourned earlier, Advocate Mnisi, he never made any cross-examination on Monday. Yes, that is someone who sent the message early. Yes, guys, yes. This is where we are, I guess. This is how we rock. I was still mentioning people's name here. Siabulela Mzizi. Thank you, guys. Pa Masu, we appreciate you for being here with us. Let me see. Mami was mentioned. Ntlantla Skosana was not mentioned. Thank you very much for being with us here. And WS, welcome and thank you for joining us. Black Boy, we heard you. Unfortunately, we don't have a crew. We change things as we go. Just saying it once, we read your comments, all of you. We are able to pick it up. Please like the video. And because of sort of spamming in a sense, then you were timed out by Net, who's our moderator. I saw that also. So I'm able to see everything. Towards Lang, 225 likes. He's complaining about likes. Let's have likes, guys. Let's please press that like button. Hlanjiwe Sibanda, thank you for being with us. And Audi, thank you for being with us. Oma Mnisi, I've mentioned you. Tamang Selepe, thank you for being with us. And the rest of the people, Tantlayetu, thank you for being with us. And if I miss you guys, Nanjelop, thank you for being with us. If I missed you, Miss Mbali, thank you. And we appreciate it. And it's a morning. Yes, it is a morning. Laura, thank you. Gloria, thank you. Mentioned you again today, Gloria. So you complained yesterday. Your name is not difficult. 80 Moyo, thank you for being with us. We appreciate you. Bones, thank you for being with us. Nolukanyo Gao, thank you for being with us. Uncle Nails, thank you for being with us. And let me see, who am I missing here? Sil, I hope that is how you pronounce your name. Ngeve, Thank you for being here. Mzansi, hello. Mzansi, hello.
Hello, Mzansi.
Hi, how are you?
How are you?
We're all right. How are you? Bit tired though.
We're doing good. I'm calling from America.
Okay.
And I just want to let you know, guys, that you're doing a great job.
Thank
You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're watching every day, and we're listening to you guys. I've been following this case, I think, ever since it started. And guys, I want to tell you one thing. I think Judge Rata has got dementia. How old is he?
I'm not sure.
I don't think that judge is normal. To be frank with you, that judge is not normal. He must be tested. And that's the truth. There's a certain disease called dementia, and it's attacking lots of old people here in America. I guess he's got one. Trust me, the way he has been handling this case, to be frank with you, this case was supposed to be over long time ago.
Yes.
And all of these 5 accused are innocent. Let me be frank with you, they're very innocent. I'm Nailok Bafeto and Fumubelo, dementia. South Africans must do something about this.
Yeah.
They must do something about this. South Africa, I know them. When such things arises, they do something. They march. It's guys. To be frank with you, I'm very angry. I'm very angry of what is happening. That's all I wanted to say, guys. I don't think he's normal. That's why he had retired. He's not fine. He must be taken to the doctors. I check him mentally. Who right him? He's not okay. Trust me.
Yeah. No, thank
you.
All is alleged. DJ Oza. All is alleged, and it's the caller's view. DJ Oza, and I saw MZ saying that you miss me every day. No worries, I understand. We many guys I'm watching every day from Europe. Love you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
MZ. We appreciate you. Sorry if I miss you now and then, but as you say, I will next time make sure that welcome back, DJ Oz. It's been a while, yes, and I will remember you when I call the names MZ. I appreciate it, and that's how I end. I end with you. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you, Nat. Thank you. It's a bye from us. It's a bye.